Okay, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the third presentation I'm doing on certain key therapeutic maps or interventions that I use, and which may be helpful to you in your daily life to give you clarity about how how your system, your nervous system, and your psyche it works. So this is Stephen Porges's Polyvagal Theory, which is a useful map in understanding the different states that we go through within the day or within our life. So we have three states that we experience, and of course all these maps are oversimplifications, but they're just useful to give us some sort of sense. To give us some sense of understanding and control over what's going on. So in our day we have the ventral vagal, social engagement, as it says here, feeling safe, feeling okay, feeling comfortable in your skin, feeling connected, that you can connect to the tasks that you're engaged in the day and connect to the people. When they're speaking to you, you feel that you can touch their words, I often say. You feel that you have a sense of connection to what they're saying rather than a distance, that you're hearing words but you're just not really feeling them. They're just bouncing off you. That's the opposite of ventral vagal. So ventral vagal is what we call green on the traffic light. So if you imagine with a car, if there's green on the traffic light, you're continually in flow and you feel like you've got momentum behind you and you've got flow and you're going forward in your life. This is the rest and digest or social engagement where we're feeling good in our own skin. And that will show up physiologically in terms of we feel present, we feel relaxed, our muscle tone will feel relaxed, our breath will probably feel deeper, and just there's no tension around it. Our stomach will feel quite relaxed, our glutes, our buttocks, they will feel relaxed and settled, our pelvic floor, the area between our privates and our bottom, that will feel quite relaxed. Our feet will feel that there's not much tension and holding in them. So that's the way we can explore it physiologically, is that things feel open, relaxed, they feel settled, they feel calm. And then we have the amber, the sympathetic adrenal or sympathetic activated state, where we suddenly become alert. So if you think about it, you're driving and then suddenly the traffic light goes amber, and now you have to make a decision on the spot. So you become alert and activated that you need to do something. Either stop or can you actually drive through and get there before the light goes red. And this is a temporary state that we need to go into when it's required. So if there's a deadline, if all of a sudden there's something hastily we need to do, we will naturally go into a bit of sympathetic nervous activated energy. And that will show up. Our breath will be shallower. Our focus, our sense of attention in our mind will not be peripheral, like it will be narrow. There will be a sense of our eyes just seeing just the immediate thing in front of us in an intense way. There'll be some intensity around that energy, and our sense of our mind will feel quite tight and tense or narrow. And we'll have a bit of a frown to our forehead, for example. So we're applying ourselves. And we need that. Again, it's not to say this is bad. We obviously need that, but it needs to be temporary. And when it's no longer needed, we move back out into the ventral vagal. And the problem is that we get stuck in this state. And when we get stuck in this state, that's when we eventually get exhausted and we go down into what we call the dorsal vagal, the freeze, and then shut down, feeling shut down, and then potentially collapsed and potentially lower than that, a complete loss of self, and feeling suicidal, having suicidal thoughts. If we feel really shut down and just not available and hopeless and shut off from everything and can't connect to the world around us and the people around us. And so all of these states are needed, even this one, because sometimes we've worked ourselves so hard in the day, we need to take a break, we need to shut off, we're not available. But again, it should be a temporary state and it's feedback for us. This is what's important as well. It's feedback for us. If it prolongs that we've been working ourselves too hard, we've been working at an intense rate and having a lot of expectations on ourselves, to just keep performing without taking pauses throughout the day. It's like we've just applied the gas constantly, and that's going to wear down on the system, and eventually the system's going to shut down. And so it's not to feel bad about these states if they're temporary, but it's to be concerned if they start to become constants. Because the system, if it stays, what often happens for people when they've got prolonged states of discomfort and not feeling with themselves, is that they go back and forward between these two: anxiety, depression, and they can't come out and reach this state. And so the dorsal vagus response will show up in terms of nausea, dizziness, potentially, when we're feeling things are too much. We just feel like we're numb. We will feel like we just don't feel available. We feel drifty. We feel like we're looking at ourselves from above. That's potentially as well. And we can feel that we're tight as well. Our muscle tension could be tight and it's just holding as if it's bracing and is scared to let go. So bracing is a freeze response in the muscle tone. So these are the three states, and we go in and out of them throughout our day or throughout our lives, and it's how we access them when they're needed. The problem is when they start showing up when we don't need them. So I go into a conversation with someone and I just freeze. And you're saying, this is a time to be actually engaging, connecting, but I feel frozen. Or I'm engaging with someone and there's no threat, they're not a threat to me, they're just being nice, but all of a sudden I start to become really anxious and start questioning myself and getting angry, for example. And you know that this is not the case. This person doesn't mean me harm, doesn't mean to harm me, but I can't seem to come out of this state and come out into here. So how do we come out of these states? That's for another video. But my invitation to you is just to ask yourself through the day, where am I at on my nervous system? Which state am I in? Ventral vagal, sympathetic, or dorsal vagal? And is that what I need at this moment? And if it's not what I need, then what can I do to come out of it?